Need a little afternoon pick-me-up? I've got you. Today we're gonna talk about coherent breath work. It's gonna leave you feeling alert but not anxious, relaxed but not sleepy. My name is Amy Jenkins from Amy Jenks Coaching. I'm a holistic coach that works with folks on a body, mind, and soul level. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're gonna have a guided breathwork session. Now, if you're already very familiar with coherent breathwork and just wanna do the session, go ahead and skip on over. There should be a chapter down below where you can skip ahead. But if you wanna learn a little bit more, stick with me. Let's learn about coherent breathwork. So our breath is connected to our heart rate. Every time we inhale, our heart rate increases a bit. And as we exhale, it slows back down. Now, our heart rate is also connected to our central nervous system. There's the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight when we go into action or we run away, and our sympathetic nervous system, which is where we rest, digest, and enjoy, chill out. So, simply by using our breath, we can kind of hack into our central nervous system. We can lengthen our breath to allow for a more balanced central nervous system. And that's what coherent breathwork does in a nutshell. So by slowing down our breath, and I'll talk about what that looks like in a moment, we can actually bring up our heart rate and bring it back down in a way that balances the nervous system. And this is why I was saying it's better than a cup of coffee, because it does leave us feeling alert, but not anxious or jittery. And it's better than an afternoon nap because it leaves us chill and relaxed without feeling groggy or sleepy. Have you ever taken a nap in the middle of the day and then you're like, oh goodness, I'm ruined for the rest of the day? This is gonna help you balance that out. So you're gonna feel calm but alert. And what's even better is that coherent breath work, when practiced over time, actually has an influence on our heart rate variability. Now, what the heck is that? Our heart rate has a beat. You might even see, I have a Fitbit on, you might have a watch that's similar where you can see your resting heart rate, your current heart rate. Well, it's just rounding it to the whole number. There's milliseconds of difference in there. Why would we want heart rate variability? Studies show that as we get older, our cardiovascular system becomes a bit more rigid. So as we age, it becomes rigid, it's not as flexible. Being into coherent breath work, we get bring our heart rate into coherence and increase that heart rate variability. That leads us to a younger, healthier cardiovascular system. It can actually help our longevity overall. Now, that's not the only benefit to coherent breath work. It also reduces cortisol levels. If you're constantly stressed out, going through perimenopause, or what have you, you might have raised cortisol levels. This type of breath work will help bring that down. It also will help increase dopamine, serotonin, as well as your alpha brain waves, which is all really good for your body and your mind-body connection. So how does this work? We're gonna slow our breaths down to 5 or 6 breaths a minute. Now we'll start with 6 breaths a minute today, because this is more of an introduction. I'll have an advanced breath work session a little later, and we'll widen it out to 5 breaths per minute. But when you do 6 breaths per minute, you're gonna inhale for a count of 5, and exhale for a count of 5. No real pauses at the end or the beginning of that breath. It's gonna be pretty continuous. And as you work up, you could go more toward the 5 breaths per minute, which would be an inhalation count of 6 and an exhale count of 6. Again, making it continuous. Now, as you're breathing with this session, you might need to kind of catch your breath, or you might feel a little breathless. That's okay. Keep at it. It will actually start to click. The first time I did this, maybe around minute 2 or 3, I felt like I was like, I need a couple more breaths. Totally fine. Catch your breath and come back to it. That's totally okay. And it will start to, your body will start to drop into that, and you'll start to be able to lengthen it a bit more. Now, the sweet spot really is 5 to 6 breaths per minute. So if you're doing it more like 7 or 8 breaths per minute, that's okay. Work up to that 5 or 6. If you're already at 5 breaths per minute, then you don't necessarily slow it down. Stay there. Lengthening it even more isn't going to quite balance the nervous system quite the same way. So we're not going for the longest, deepest breath we can do. If you can do a count of 10, that's great before bed to really drop down into some relaxation. Now you're gonna do this for 5 minutes a day, 3 times a day. For a lot of folks, we recommend doing right in the morning, maybe before breakfast, right after lunch, and then right after work if you're working that day. I don't typically recommend doing it just before bed because you might feel a little bit more alert, but play around with it. If you find it's deeply relaxing for you, if you do it at night, it could be adaptogenic, then definitely experiment with it and see how it works for you. All right, you ready? Let's get started. hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Amy Jenkins from Amy Jenks Coaching. I'm a holistic coach that works with folks on a body, mind, and soul level. I like to work with people who are trying to get past a position of feeling stuck and wanting the next thing in life. If that's you and you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, hit like, or message me and let's get started. We can work one-on-one. I offer groups and I do have in-person breathwork sessions.